meaningful, purposeful life, you have to be honest with yourself at that moment. Because it happened to me, it popped in my head. Oh man, just one more, and I'll just wait 5 years. I have no patience, so there is no waiting 5 years. And even if I waited 5 years, that I just would have built 5 years of greatness and then ruined it by drinking again. So just know that it's going to creep in your head, and you have to be ready for it, and you have to beat it back down and try to dig deep in your soul. Mm-hmm. This gentleman tonight, I heard a story, and it was pretty similar to kind of what I'm talking about. And I went back to my theory. Of course, not a doctor, not a therapist. I am a professional radio broadcaster, though. So that gives me some kind of clout, maybe, and I'm not sure. But anyway, and I brought up my whole theory of it's the soul versus the brain. And the guy said that he didn't have a soul and that he was using alcohol to fill up his soul, and that was getting him through life. But we really don't fill up our soul with alcohol, unfortunately. And this other guy was talking to me about how he didn't have a future and how he didn't really think of himself in the future at all. And there's a test that went out, or some kind of thing where they were testing brain levels and the way our brains process things. And it's hard for our brain to see ourselves in the future because it hasn't happened yet. Like you sitting across from me right now, my brain levels or waves would be like zoop, 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 because I can see it. It's happening. The past, our brain sends out different waves and acts in different ways too when we think about the past. So if you can't think of the future, that's not uncommon for us to have a weird reaction to the future because it hasn't happened yet. And, maybe that's where the anxiety kind of builds up in some people. But this guy was, saying that he didn't have a future, and he's never thought of the future. And that can be very scary because if you're not planning ahead, if you're not looking forward, then, what is there? You got kids that are 5 and 6. You're going to be a grandfather one day, most likely, or grandmother, I guess, depending on what you are. But those are things to look forward to. How can you prepare yourself? And maybe you don't have that great relationship with your kid. Maybe your kid's 10 and you're like, I haven't been in the kid's life in 4 years, really. I've been drinking or using. And doesn't mean in 8 years when they're 18 that you're not going to be a part of their life. And that's just facts, especially if you spend the next, 10 years doing the things that you need to be doing, and they'll see and they'll notice. And you can explain to them one day when they're old enough and say, look, I had to do this for myself, and I had to get clean. I had to be sober. I wasn't living a good life, and I'm sorry for that. You can apologize. And sometimes people don't like to apologize, but you can and make amends with them then. But right now, you just got to do what you need to do to put yourself in the future to be a good grandparent. And that's just one of the many things you can look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, making plans is important. Because that's part of the reason why I stayed sober. Like, this, I went to rehab for 28 days, or, however many it is, to where you get discharged successfully. And I wasn't ready yet. I had still some things I need to work on. And so I had filed for an extension, actually several. But just because I wanted to be prepared, I had plans in mind for myself. And in order to make those plans a reality, I had to make little tiny stepping stone goals for myself to get to the next step that I need to get to. And then all those things started to materialize, and, the bigger picture, the bigger goals, I became closer and closer to. And I'm still, working every day towards those, and it feels good, and it's making my sobriety reality. So I think goals are important for the future, for me, my program at least.
Yeah, they are. And my problem is sometimes my goals are all over the place, and I'll spend one day just focused on this is and then I'll wake up the next morning and so what we need to do? The Recovery Fall Classic. Let's just get out in the fall and have like a golf scramble, and it's going to be amazing. And and then I'll draw my attention away from all the other stuff that I was thinking about and wanting to do, and it gets very frustrating for me because my brain's like all over the place sometimes, and that's okay. That's what lists are for. If you have that same problem, just don't beat yourself up over it, but just know that, hey, you had that problem.
Yeah, maybe you should delegate, like,
To
a
what?
day,
To who?
every day, work on, like, one thing.
To delegate?
Yeah. I mean, yourself.
To who? To myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Movie Maker Monday.
There you go.
Transportation Tuesdays. Wild Card Wednesday.
Yeah. Focus days.
Hmm.
Focus Friday.
Focus Friday.
There you go. It's all planned out now.
I think so. Thursday. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It is a problem for me, but I'm working on it, and hopefully I'll have more time to do these kind of things and plan the things out that I want to do. And, you know, fantasy football's coming up, hopefully. So we're going to have a fantasy football league where a donation will get you in. And there's two different ways we can set it up, and I'm still trying to figure that out. And it'll be fun, though, and there'll be some great prizes. And just, it's football. We have to have football back. If we don't have football back, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's very scary for me. The struggle's
Hang
real.
tight. You poor thing.
I know. I don't know what I'll do. I need football. I need fantasy football. Football. But yeah, so thank you for listening though tonight. We really do appreciate it. And you know, one thing we do know in the future is tomorrow we'll give you another podcast. But yeah, thanks for listening, and you know, share this podcast with whoever you want, you know, hopefully your friends. And if you really want to be a 217 Recovery ambassador, you know, shoot me an email. We'll hook you up. And that way you can spread the good word, and we'll help you do that. We really appreciate your help for that. And 217recovery.com, you can go there and get our emails. If you just want me to tell you, it's Corey is my email, Corey at 217recovery.com. Marnie, yep, you guessed it, Marney at 217recovery.com. And Anna, yep, ANNA at 217recovery.com. Shoot us an email. And Anna has blogs, so does Marnie. I do as well. Jay has a blog. Like I said, 217recovery.com, resources. Just kind of check it out. A commercial with my nephews are up there. That's kind of cute. Mm-hmm. But it's just pictures. And it's not really what I wanted to do. It was just something I was setting up to kind of show the guy, Nate, at News 9 and 10, because they're going to be working on some stuff for us. So it was just like, hey, something like this, you know, but like professional.
Mm-hmm. No, it turned out good.
Yeah. If you want to check it out, that's on there too. So appreciate the support, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.